Can a sales record become a double-edged sword? On one side crowning a star as a king, yet on the other quietly casting a long shadow that weighs on those standing beside him? Or is this merely an illusion born from how the public reads numbers, while the reality behind them is far more complex, more subtle, and perhaps more surprising than anyone imagines? The name Jungkook once again shakes the landscape of the global music industry, this time not through grand stages or digital releases that break streaming records, but through something that feels classic and has now become a symbol of exclusivity: vinyl. In an era where music can be accessed with a single tap on a screen, the success of a physical release reaching tens of thousands in sales is not just a number, it is a statement. And when that number surpasses 37,000 units within just 1 month for a single variant, that statement transforms into a phenomenon. The Jungkook Orchid Edition vinyl from BTS' the fifth album Arirang did not merely sell well, it dominated. Data from the US retail site Target shows this variant standing firmly at the top, surpassing Group Red with over 33,000 units, followed by versions from Kim Taehyung with 20,000+, Park Jimin with 19,000+, and Min Yoongi with 18,000+. A gap that not only appears significant, but also large enough to spark a question now echoing across corners of the internet. Is this simply an individual victory, or a sign of a larger shift in dynamics within BTS itself? When the out-of-stock status appeared on Target's page for the Jungkook Orchid variant, many saw it as undeniable proof of fandom power. The title Sold Out King resurfaced, this time louder, more confident, and reaching even further. Yet behind the celebration, another layer of discussion began to form, not as loud as the cheers, but strong enough to draw attention. A discussion that no longer simply asks, how many were sold? But what does that difference mean? This phenomenon becomes even more intriguing when viewed within the context of the Arirang vinyl collection itself. Each variant was designed with a distinct visual identity, reflecting the character of each member. With relatively uniform pricing, around $25.99, along with bonuses like posters and lyric papers, comparisons between variants appear more fair in the eyes of consumers. In simple economic theory, when other variables remain relatively constant, differences in outcomes are often seen as reflections of market preference. But is it really that simple? On the platform X, the fanbase account at @JeongGoldenLight was among the first to circulate the data, emphasizing that Jungkook Orchid was the best-selling across the entire collection. The statement spread rapidly, quoted, debated, and reinterpreted by thousands of users. Within hours, the narrative of Jungkook's win evolved into something far larger than sales figures. It became a symbol. A symbol of what? This is where the story begins to branch. For some ARMY, this is clear proof of Jungkook's ever-growing global appeal. As the youngest member of BTS, he has long been recognized for his unique combination of vocal ability, stage charisma, and remarkable commercial power. These vinyl sales only reinforce what they have always believed, that Jungkook is one of the most influential figures in the music industry today. From this perspective, there is no controversy, only validation. But for others, these numbers open the door to deeper questions. Why is the gap so wide? Is it purely the result of fan preference? Or are there other factors at play, such as distribution, marketing strategies, or even internal fandom dynamics? And more sensitively, does this dominance, even indirectly, create pressure for other members? It is this last question that has slowly become the center of attention in the history of music groups, especially those with many members. Imbalances in popularity are nothing new. Yet BTS has often been seen as an exception, a group where each member holds a strong fan base and meaningful contribution. Because of that, when data like this emerges, it is not read merely as statistics, but as a potential shift. Some online discussions have moved toward more complex, even emotional narratives. There are those who argue that this difference is a natural outcome of an increasingly individualistic global market, where fans no longer support only the group, but also choose their favorite members more specifically. In this context, Jungkook's success is not a threat, it is evolution. Yet others see it differently. They question whether too much focus on one individual might blur the collective identity of the group. Is this victory truly shared by all? Or does it instead highlight differences that were previously less visible? And if those differences continue to grow, what might it mean for BTS's future as a unified entity? Interestingly, there is no single answer to these questions. The modern music industry itself has transformed dramatically over the past decade. Digital platforms, algorithms, and social media have created an ecosystem where popularity can be measured, compared, and debated in real time. In such an ecosystem, every number carries a story, and every story has the potential to become a larger narrative, regardless of whether that narrative fully reflects reality. In Jungkook's case, the number 37,000 is not just a number. It is a starting point for multiple interpretations. It fuels celebration while simultaneously igniting more critical discussions. It is proof of success, but also a mirror reflecting different perspectives on what success truly means. And perhaps this is where the real twist lies, because in the end, the question, does Jungkook's record put pressure on other members, may not be entirely about Jungkook or even about BTS. It is a reflection of how we, as an audience, understand success in the modern era. Do we see it as something that must always be balanced, or as something that will naturally differ from one individual to another? Amid all of this, one thing remains unchanged: BTS still stands as one of the biggest groups in the world, with an influence that goes far beyond music. And Jungkook, with all his achievements, remains part of that story. Not the whole story, but one of its most compelling chapters right now. Yet this story is far from over, because every new number, every new record, and every new discussion will continue to add layers to an already complex narrative. And perhaps beneath all the debate, one question will always return, quietly but never truly disappearing. When one star shines so brightly, does that light illuminate everyone, or does it simply make the surrounding shadows more visible? And it is precisely at that point that this narrative transforms into something more than just a sales report. It becomes a mirror reflecting how the public perceives balance within a global group as massive as BTS. As the numbers continue to circulate, be compared, and analyzed, a pattern emerges that is difficult to ignore. The higher an individual's achievement rises, the more intense the effort becomes to link it to the position of others around them. In the case of Jungkook, this surge in vinyl sales further cements his status as an almost unmatched market magnet. Yet at the same time, part of the conversation begins to shift into more sensitive territory, no longer centered on how did he achieve this, but rather what does it mean for the others? This question is not always spoken outright, but it lingers in the increasingly sharp tone of discussions across various platforms. Some pop culture observers see this phenomenon as a logical consequence of the era of personal branding. Amid the rapid globalization of K-pop, each member is no longer viewed solely as part of a group, but also as an individual entity with their own identity, color, and market power. Within this framework, Jungkook's success does not necessarily diminish the value of other members, but instead highlights how wide the spectrum of appeal within a single group can be. However, this perspective does not entirely ease the underlying unease. There is concern that constant comparisons, especially those driven by numbers, may create a narrative of competition that was never intended by the artists themselves. When sales gaps become the primary focus of discussion, the artistic meaning behind releases like BTS' The Fifth Album Errorang risks being pushed aside, replaced by a fixation on who is winning and who is falling behind. And perhaps without anyone fully realizing it, this is the greatest twist of all, that behind a seemingly simple label like Sold Out King, there exists a much deeper and ongoing conversation, one that stretches far beyond the sales figures themselves.